But I had started hearing things, and I just knew I wanted to be like them. And from that point on, I had decided that that's what I was going to do. My mind was made up. It was already made up. I didn't see any other way. School wasn't going to get it. I told you what the teachers were telling me. Go to school, get your grades, and get a job. Well, I was getting good grades. Well, nobody's saying to me about, well, I wasn't getting no rewards for getting a good grade. What, $5? Good job? Pat on your back? I wasn't even getting that. But I didn't see no reward in it because we act and we behave not according to the truth, but the truth as we believe it to be. I didn't understand at that point that the support group that I had was enough for me to be successful had I continued doing what I was doing. Like you became a doctor, whatever support system that you had in place gave you enough to where you could, because I know going to be a doctor, that's not like going to be, a phys ed teacher or a case manager like myself or whatever, but you got 8 years of school, minimum. And then you got boards and you got different other things that you have to pass and all these other different type of things to just become one. So that takes some serious dedication and focus, which I lacked as a youth coming up. Because, I can't say I lacked it because I had focus. I had focus enough to know that when I was getting 30 off every 100, I was going to keep it and put it in my pocket. I wasn't going to go spend it. So I can't say I didn't have focus. Maybe it was misguided. Who knows? But I do know this, that my dream was deferred because I didn't become what I first wanted to be. The first thing I wanted to be was just like what you said. I wanted to be a lawyer. Like you, I watched the Perry Mason shows, and I'd watch the different little movies and see how the guys would always win, Ironside, and all them type of things. As a child, I grew up vicariously through these movies. I had my first family through early sitcoms. Remember Bill Kennedy at the movies? Come on at 1 o'clock, yeah, right? It used to be a time, matter of fact, and some of y'all noticed that TV used to cut off at 12 o'clock. The snow would come, the flag would come, and then here go this big old thing, right? Now TV stays on 24 hours a day. So if you were affected by what you were able to see on TV at your age that you are now, what do you think your children are going through right now? Now I introduced you to a term called negative self-talk. Somebody tell me what they believe that to be. I heard somebody say something earlier.
Someone telling you.
You said something what?
Someone telling you can't be that.
That's part of it. That's part of it. That is a form of negative self-talk. Now, self-doubt, that's different. But it's kind of around the same thing. It depends on what you're telling yourself about yourself.
So you said negative self-talk is what you're telling your own self.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. You saying that. That's what you're saying? Okay, that's your answer. Come on. Who are we going to use here, Stu?
It's when you're telling yourself you can't do it. Like if I'm telling myself I can't do it, I don't need to do that. I can wait to do that. Like basically, telling myself a negative thing instead of saying, you know what, I can do it, I'm going to pursue it.
Okay. First job of the conscience is what? You studied it? You read it? You went over your stuff last night? The first job of the conscience is to perceive, right? And when we perceive things, how many senses do we use?
All of them.
All of them, which are?
5. Smell, touch, taste, hear, and sight.
Each one of those senses can give you negative self-talk. Let me introduce you to something. Give me a food that you just can't stand. Anybody?
Liver.
Liver. When you smell liver, what happens?
Smell good as hell.
See, I ain't calling you no more Puff Daddy. We're gonna leave Puff Daddy out of this.
It smells good, but when you bite into it,
you said what? Give me a food.
No beef liver, boy.
Sauerkraut. When you smell sauerkraut, what happens? Get disgusted. Attitude automatically does what? Bold. Have you ever tried sauerkraut?
No. Yeah.
You have? Okay. Didn't like it the first time. Has anybody here ever have a hatred or a dislike for a food that they've never tried?
I have.
What's that?
Liver.
Liver. You never tried it?
I didn't at the end, but till my grandma looked it up and I tried it.
Oh man, you didn't answer the question.
Yeah, I did answer the question.
All right, well, let me give you something else then.
What?
This something. We'll give you something else. We'll give you something different.
Brains, and I guess shit.
Let me give you something different. Yes, ma'am.
Asparagus, and they taste good. But I told myself, good,
You told yourself, ugh.
good.
You had never tried.
But I did, and the asparagus are good.
Okay. Let me say this. There has been studies about rape victims that, and I'm gonna give you a quick small story about one. No names. Young lady. Whenever she smells grass, whenever she comes in contact with grass, it triggers the same feeling, thought, and action of that rape as if it had happened right then. We have things stored in our mind. I told you yesterday, your brain is better than any Pentium processor you can think about. You just have some files that you haven't opened up yet. They just in the back of that. And before you leave this, before we finish this, we're going to unlock some of them. But what I'm trying to get to is this. Our dreams become deferred, basically because we start compromising. We start to do things that we know we shouldn't or don't really want to do or have no business doing a little bit at a time. Until we get so far in it that we full-fledged in it and it becomes us. Nobody goes to sleep at night wondering or waiting to think about or dream about one day coming to jail or being in prison. Prison or being locked up ain't no place to be nobody. I think it's the worst form of emasculation ever known to man. That's my own personal belief. Because that's what it tried to do to me. That's what I felt like it was doing to me. But like I said earlier, we had to develop, like the orchestra, like the conductor. In order for him to lead, he had to turn his back to the crowd. In order for you to lead your life and conduct it, as the brother said, like a conductor in a symphony, you have to turn your back to the crowd. What is the crowd saying to you today about you? Well, I'm going to tell you one of the things that the crowd is saying to you about you today. The crowd is telling you that you're an ex-convict, that you no good, that you don't even deserve another opportunity to be back out here. And they want to limit as many opportunities as they possibly can because they're calling you an ex-con. Is that what you are? What do you label yourself as, bro? I mean, what's the label that they give you that you've accepted? As far as ex what? Is there an ex or how is it? What do you consider? How do you label yourself as? A felon? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I'm still a doctor, I'm still a person.
Okay, but that sounds good. But what do you? I mean, what's the label? What are you under? What do you call? What do you term yourself as?
Probably an ex-con, I don't know.
Okay, come on. Convict. Okay. Ex-con. Felon.
Would I label myself? Or are you saying what they're labeling?
Yo, what you label yourself? Because sometimes we accept what they put on us sometimes. Like 297322 will always be mine. I can't get that off of me.
I thought you was asking what do they label us as?
Well, what they label you as or what you have accepted. I mean, when you leave here, you have to explain yourself. How you gonna explain it? What you gonna say? You a what?
Person who made bad choices.
Okay. Felon?
My brother labeled me as a failure to succeed.
As a who?
A failure of success.
A failure of success.
Person who made a bad choice.
Person who made a bad choice. Welcome to the fray, bro.